Hi everybody, it's Lisa and it's time for another Verbling class. This hour we are going to be having a writing practice class. So I see that we have lots of familiar faces already in the Verbling chat. Junaid and Midu, Muhammad, and Lendit, and people like that. So if you guys are interested in coming into the class, the Join Class button will be available in a minute. The first 2 minutes are reserved for the premium members, which is a new offering that Verbling has started, where people can pay $25 for the entire month, and you'll be able to reserve spots in as many classes as you'd like, so that you can ensure that you get into the class, because what is happening with Verbling is, because it has become more popular, lots of people show up to take the class, but they often have a hard time getting into the class. So this is a sort of a way that you can make sure that you get into the class, and obviously Verbling can make some money that way, so it can pay the teachers and the developers and all the people who have created this pretty amazing website, because not only do we have classes, but you actually can also find a partner if you'd like. If you're interested in practicing speaking another language with somebody, you can always go to the I think it's called Friends or something, and get a friend or get a partner, and that way you can exchange helping each other with your native languages. So if you speak Spanish and the other person wants to speak English, then you can do that. So if you're ready and you want to come into the class, it's available. The Join Class button should be available. I see Mido's there. Yes, you're in.
Yeah.
Okay, and so come on in everybody, so we can start the class. Like I said before, it's going to be a writing class. So for people who are brushing up on their writing skills in English, that means brushing up means getting some practice and improving. And the way this works is, I have created a Google Doc, and I'm going to put that link up now, and there it is. So if you would like to click on that link, it will take you to another window which will open as a Google document. And in the Google document, I have provided 6 different prompts, writing prompts. Some of them are in the form of questions. The other ones are in the form of a statement telling you to do something, like describe what's in the picture and that sort of thing. So for the people who are experienced students already, like Lendit and Junaid and others, Imad, you can go ahead and get started. I want to welcome all the other students who may be new to the class. I'm going to give the directions and explain how this works. I'm not going to take time to do introductions because I think that most people are familiar here. Hi Imad and Ismail and Junaid and Lindit and Maria and Mido. Hey Mido, I heard Brett saying
Hi.
me. I heard Brett saying me do. Do you want us to say Mido, me do, or Muhammad?
Anything works.
Or Frankie or Jackie or something like that.
Anything, really.
Anything. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, the evil one. Hey, you could be Darth Vader.
Mr. Evil.
Okay, and
Okay.
Rosie's here, and Yada, and Jason. All right. Okay, so everybody, I think, who is here has done this before. I will also speak to the viewers who may be watching right now and who may also want to participate by checking out the writing assignments and learning how this works, in case you want to try to get in on another night, or if you want to stick around and see if you can get in tonight. What I mention usually that what can happen is some people have slower internet connection. So sometimes what can happen is you drop out of the Google Hangout for some unknown reason, and then if another person is there waiting and ready to go, you may push the join class button and you'll be able to join. It's nice if people get here at the beginning of class, because then you get to take advantage of the full time. We have 1 hour to do this, and so the writing classes can go very quickly. What's happening is everybody's starting to do their own writing. So they're writing their name. They're just finding a spot on the page here, and they're typing their name, and then they're starting to do their writing. So sometimes it takes a minute or two to gather your thoughts and figure out what you want to say, and then go ahead and start writing. And then, excuse me, then what will happen is when one person has finished writing the answer to that particular question, just let me know, and then I will have you read what you wrote, and then I will make corrections if necessary. I might make corrections with capitalization, punctuation, verb tenses, changing the verb tenses perhaps, and sometimes some vocabulary and phrasing. So everybody is at a different level of experience with English, and particularly English writing. So everybody's working at their own level, and that's perfectly okay. So the trick here, too, for the students who continue to come is to continue to improve and to push yourself. We can say to challenge yourself or to push your limits, go to your edge, you could say, and that just means instead of writing 1 or 2 or 3 sentences, maybe you write a little bit more, and maybe you write a little bit higher level of the language rather than simple sentences. So I think you understand what I mean. It would be the same thing in your language. In every language there's type of beginning writing, and then there's more advanced writing. So you can challenge yourself by trying a more advanced level of writing. Okay? And as you can see, people are sometimes changing the color of the writing. That is helpful for me, because then when you call out your name and tell me that you are ready, then I will be able to find you more easily. Because what's happening, I'm going to show people who are watching, and I'm talking just so that people who are watching have something to listen to while the students in the Google Hangout are actually writing. Okay? So as you can see, people are writing in this document, just putting their name first and then writing their answer. And like I said, like Lendit here is writing in blue, and Mido's writing here in green, Junaid. So if you are in the Google Hangout, go ahead and start writing. Typically, it works the best if you start with number 1. So for example, tonight the question is, why do you think politicians are often so corrupt? So in a few of the classes we've talked about current events and politics and political issues, and it seems to be that everybody has experience with political corruption within governments, and so I think people have ideas about that. So maybe you can share a few of your ideas. Okay? And one of the main things is to make sure that that you're not going to erase anybody else's writing. You want to make sure that you're only writing in your area, and of course write your name, because otherwise I won't be able to find you. Okay, Lendit, I heard that or I saw in the verbling that you're done. You want to read your first answer?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
I think politicians are corrupt because they feel that the power they have makes them invincible, and also that temptation of being in the power makes them lose their honesty. It's sad because most of the time the politicians are rich before being in the power, and after that they become richer.
Yes. Okay, I don't know if there's any corrections. Let me see. I think politicians are corrupt because they feel that the power they have makes them invincible. Yes. And also the temptation of being in the power. I would just say in the temptation of being in power. Well, it's not really a temptation of being in power. It's like also the temptation when they're in power, I would say. Yeah. When they are in power or when they have so much power, makes them lose their honesty. Or you could also say tends to make them become dishonest. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's sad because most of the time the politicians are rich before being in power, and after that they become richer. I would say even richer. Yeah,
richer.
even like an emphasis there. Yeah, okay, good, thanks.
Yeah.
I done for first one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I think politicians are often corrupt because they are in a place of power. They feel like they can do whatever they want whenever they want because nobody can sue them. I guess anyone who feels being above law may think about using this privilege for doing good or bad things. I guess most of the politicians use this privilege for corrupting and destroying the governments. Feeling invincible is a very dangerous feeling.
Okay, I think politicians are often corrupt because they're in a place of power. They feel like they can do whatever they want whenever they want because nobody can sue them. I think right here I'd put a semicolon there. I guess anyone who feels being above, we say above the law, may think about using this privilege for doing good or bad things. I guess most of the politicians use this privilege for corrupting and destroying their governments. Feeling invincible is a very dangerous feeling. Yes. Okay, good. Yeah, I think there's a quote, I forget who it was, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, or something like that. I'll have to look at that. Okay, great. So go ahead and do number 2. And anybody else ready?
Okay, Lisa.
Junaid, okay.
Okay, can I read? Okay.
Yes.
I think most politicians are corrupt because they know that they will not continue in their position forever. So they try to utilize their power to collect a largest money or a largest amount of money. Sometimes they try to use their power to help their companies. For instance, they use their companies for government projects and get benefit from that.
Yes. Okay, I think most politicians are corrupt because they know that they will not continue in their position forever, just one word. So they try to utilize their power to collect, I would say, the largest amount of money, and maybe I would say possible. And sometimes they try to use their power to help their companies. For instance, they use their companies for government projects and get benefit from that. Absolutely. Yeah. Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is Ismael, Lisa.
Okay. Let me find where you wrote. Okay, up there. I see. Go ahead.
Okay, I think that most of politicians are related to power groups, so they have always to protect themselves by creating laws which not affect them. They are always surrounded by many people who is taking care about their own interests.
Okay, good. I think that most, I would just say most politicians are related to power groups. So they have always to protect themselves, one word, by creating laws which I would say will not or do not affect them. They are always surrounded with a U there by many people who are taking care of, I would say, of their own interests. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, anybody else who's in the Hangout want to read?
I'm ready, Lisa.
Okay, let me find you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Politicians are corrupt because they don't have ethic and moral. They just use people to get power, often use the people's money to enrich. They are the worst for the countries.
Okay, politicians are corrupt because they don't have ethics and morals, we say. They just use people to get power. Often they use the people's money to enrich, I would say, enrich themselves. They are the worst for the countries. Yes. That's pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah.
The people that we need to make things and rules and laws and things because we're doing other jobs and they're just using all that power. Kind of sucks. Okay, good. You can go on to number 2. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, Manu, I see. Okay, Manu, I see that you finished. It's a little bit hard for me to go back and forth to the verbling chat, so I'll try to keep an eye on it. Corruption is often attributed to the low salaries of civil servants. This differentiates between need-driven, satisfying basic requirements for survival, corruption, and greed-driven, satisfying desires for status and comfort that salaries cannot match, corruption. It may be true that it is more difficult to stay honest, work hard, and be trustworthy on a low salary, but it is also true that most people with low salaries are still able to do so, and that many corrupt officials are people in high responsible positions earning good salaries. Yes. Okay, I made a couple of corrections there, Manu. That's good.
Lisa, I'm finished.
Okay.
But it was a tricky one.
Yeah, I mean, it's one that people could talk a lot about probably and write more, but yeah, go ahead.
Especially 6 a.m. in the morning.
I was wondering.
Yeah. Politicians got their job because they are aligned with a certain political party. After holding their posts for some years, they might change their opinions so that it does not align with their party's opinion anymore. That is when they start to act for their own personal gain. They become corrupt. This is why it's so important that the public and media hold the politicians accountable for their actions.
Okay, politicians got their jobs because their opinions are aligned with a certain political party. Well, since you're kind of talking in the past, I just would say they got their jobs were aligned. Yeah. After holding their post for some years, they might change their opinions so that it doesn't align with their party's opinion anymore. That is when they start to act for their own personal gain. They become corrupt. This is why it is so important that the public and the media hold the politicians accountable for their actions. Yeah, good, perfect.
Okay, good.
Even at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, I was like prepared for a question about puppies or kittens or something like that.
Okay. Well, we could go on. You could tell me about how they could be held accountable. Are they held accountable pretty well in Sweden compared to other countries, perhaps?
Yeah. Media is doing a good job. The public, I mean, people in general don't actually have time to like.
Sure. Yeah. Watch them.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the job for media to do that.
Yes.
But we have some good examples of corruption, not only for politicians, also in private companies sometimes. Yeah, for example, insurance companies, when the one with the top post or position kind of
CEO or something like that.
Yeah, uses the insurance takers' money Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, when
it's hard for
the
me to
people,
explain.
like the customer, he's using the money to do his own personal things. Like, is that what you
Yeah,
mean? Yeah,
they put a
yeah,
lot of bonuses on
sure.
their,
A lot of, we call
salaries.
them perks. A lot of
Perks. Okay, yeah.
yeah, perks, things that you get,
Okay.
yeah, that you can give to yourself, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, because you are the one who's,
Vacations and yeah, right, yeah,
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 in
yeah.
charge.
Yes, that's a big problem here also in the United States with large corporations, especially as you probably heard about a couple years ago with the banking crisis and um, all of the banks, the CEOs who were making hundreds of millions of dollars, but they were bankrupting their own companies and things. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. Okay, well, Jason, are you ready to read? Jason?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Please.
Yes.
Okay. Wait a moment. Right. There are many politicians that came to the government with particular ideals and with good things in mind for the people of the country. But the government is already rotten to the core, so they can't do what they wanna do because those ideas will collide with the plans of other politicians, and the oldest politicians start to corrupt the new politicians that come to have power. You know, they have too much power already, and the new politicians are afraid of mess with the oldest ones. The system is the one at fault in the modern society.
Okay. Yeah, good. There are many politicians that came to, I would say, come to the government, because we're kind of talking about in general rather than specifically. There are many politicians that come to the government with pretty clear ideals and with good things in mind for the people of the country, but the government is already rotten to the core, so they can't do what they want. So you can say wanna in like informal language, but in writing you say want. So they
Okay.
can't do what they want to do because those ideals will collide with the plans of the other politicians. Um, I would just stop it there. I would say furthermore, because it was getting to be a long sentence, the oldest politicians start to corrupt the new politicians that have come to power, period. You know they have too much power already, and the new politicians are afraid of messing with the oldest ones. The system is the one at fault in the modern society. Okay, good. All right,
Okay.
good job.
Thanks.
Okay, anybody else ready to read the first one or the second one? Lendit, you ready?
Could I
Okay, Lendit, and then who else wanted to read? Facundo, are you ready?
Could I read the second one?
Okay, yeah, hold on. Let me do Lendit
Yeah.
and then Ismail.
Okay. Me first. Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to do in English is definitely watching TV and movies. It helps me a lot with the listening and also learning new slang. I see TV in English daily because I like a lot of US series. I try to see most of the TV in English, but sometimes they come with subtitles that distracts me and tempt me to read.
Okay, good. My favorite thing to do in English, capital, is definitely watching TV and movies. It helps me a lot, is actually two words, with the listening and also in learning new slang. I watch TV in English daily because I like a lot of, I wouldn't say US, I would just say American series.
Okay.
I try to watch most of the TV in English, but sometimes they come with the subtitles, and that distracts me and you could say I am tempted to read them.
Okay.
So they come with subtitles in Spanish?
Yeah, and they distract me of listening.
Yeah. Can you ever get them with subtitles in English so that you're listening in English and also reading in English?
No, they
No.
come only with the subtitles in Spanish.
Oh, okay. Like what kind of TV shows do you like?
New Girl, I see also The Walking Dead.
Uh-huh.
New Girl, Walking Dead. A lot of mainly Fox, a lot of Fox series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't come dubbed in Spanish. They're just the originals in English?
Yeah, because we don't have that function here to change the subtitles. They come only with from fabric, something like that.
Well, I know because I lived in Spain for a little while, and when I lived there, they watched some American TV series, but they were always in Spanish with like the people talking in Spanish. Then we call that dubbed.
Yeah. Dubbed. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now sometimes they put them like that, but not many times. They prefer to do the subtitles.
Oh,
I think because it's cheaper.
Cheaper, yeah, it's probably cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. All right. Thanks.
Lisa, can you get listening?
Yeah. Ismael, are you ready to read the second one?
Yes.
Okay, let me do Ismael first. Okay, go ahead.
To be honest, I love everything related to learning English. I think the most important is communication, but in my case, I want to teach it. So I try to spend time by combining some activities like writing, reading, watching videos, etc. But the most I enjoy is talking with other people because it's really important to learn about new accents. If so, speaking and listening skills could be improved.
Okay. To be honest, I love everything related to learning English. So we capitalize E in English. I think the most important thing is the communication. But in my case, I want to teach it. So I try to spend time by combining some activities like writing, reading, watching videos, etc. But I would say what I enjoy most is talking with other people because it is really important to learn about new accents. I would say therefore, speaking and thereby speaking and listening skills can be improved. Okay? So, Ismael, where are you from? I forgot.
I'm from Ecuador.
Ecuador. Okay, yeah. Are you going to be teaching English in a school?
Yes, I think middle school. At beginning, I think at middle school. Middle school.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Mine is very short, but I'm finished now. So.
Okay, go ahead.
I used to like reading in English, but now I like speaking English the most. I also enjoy writing in English. I have a passion for languages. I like learning to express myself in English.
Okay. What's it like in Sweden? Do you get American TV programs too, and are they in English or in Swedish?
We have a lot of American TV series episodes. So but we have subtitles, so that is kind of destructive or
distracting.
Distracting. It's distracting, but it's also for learning languages. It's not so good to read subtitles because it's hard to listen and read at the same time if it's different languages. If you see what I mean.
Yeah. Are you also learning other languages besides English?
I learned French in school. Unfortunately, I haven't used it very much. So. I can only speak like on a very, very basic or elementary level. And I would like to learn Spanish sometime. I'm not sure.
Would it be, is it easy for a Swedish person to learn like Norwegian or Danish or any of the other languages like German?
Yeah, they say that German is easy to learn. I have never studied German, but Norwegian and Danish for sure is very similar to Swedish because once it was one country.
Yeah. And Finnish too? From Finland?
Finland was a part of Sweden as well, but they speak a different language. I don't know why. It's very different from Swedish.
Huh.
But Norwegian and Danish, for sure, I can understand it, even though I don't speak like those languages. We can understand each other very well.
You can understand, like when you're speaking, or also the written language?
Both. I mean, it depends on, but I can do it. I can understand. So.
Is Swedish at all like English, or no?
No. We use some similar words, but those are like the modern words that. But it's not similar to English. It's not. But I mean, we learn from third grade in school. We learn that Swedish is a very small language, and English is the world language. So we know that we have to learn it.
Yeah, because I have the experience that a lot of people from Sweden can speak English very well. So it must be good. It must work if you start at third grade. So
yeah,
that's good.
But also everything comes in English. I mean,
if you have TV shows, that's why it's hard for Americans a lot of times to learn other languages, because we have everything's in English, you know. So I mean, you can get some like Mexican programming here in the United States for Spanish. That's, you know, probably the easiest language to learn for an American. But it's hard to get. I mean, it's easier now with the internet, but just on the TV, even on cable TV, you can't just turn it on and, you know, get different languages, you know, programs and stuff.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I would like it if you. I don't have a TV, but
you don't?
No, I just have the internet.
Okay.
Ladies, can I interrupt you?
Yes.
What about your kids?
I was just waiting for somebody to say they're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Speak up, men. Speak up. Okay.
Okay. Which one? 2 or 3? Okay, 2. Okay, for me, I really like to do them all, but the most thing I do a lot is reading, writing, and watching TV and movies. Watching TV helps me a lot because I have a very good chance to listen carefully and hear how actors pronounce the words they're saying, and that helps me to improve my pronunciation as well. I do that very often, like 3 to 5 times a day, to keep my edge in English.
All right, good. For me, I really like to do them all, but I would say the thing I do most is a lot of reading, writing, and watching TV and movies. Watching TV helps me a lot because I have a very good chance to listen carefully and hear how actors pronounce the words they're saying, and that helps me improve my pronunciation as well. I do that very often, like 3 to 5 times a day to keep my edge in English. Yes, and it's working. Good job. So is it the same for you then? You have a lot of American TV programs, and they're in English with subtitles in Arabic? Is that true?
You know, I get them without subtitles because I want to practice, you know.
How do you get them?
So, over the internet or the cable service.
Okay, good.
So I get the shows which are in English, no subtitles, because I just want to practice.
Sure.
You know, try to understand what they're saying.
Yes, that's great. I don't even watch any TV, so the only thing I've been watching is Downton Abbey. It's British, though. Okay, who's next? Who's ready to read?
Okay, Junaid.
Junaid, okay, and then I don't know who that was next. Okay. Junaid, go ahead.
Yeah,
My favorite thing to do in English is speaking, because that will give me a chance to communicate with others and explain my ideas in perfect way. But I think writing is more important than speaking, because I can see a lot of native people, they speak English fluently, reading, listening, and watching TV, but they don't know how to write. I also noticed that writing class is necessary for native people in universities.
Yes, it is. Okay, my favorite thing to do in English is speaking because that will give me a chance to communicate with others and explain my ideas in a perfect way. But I think writing is more important than speaking because I can see a lot of native people. Um, they speak. I can see. Let's see. I can see that. Whoops. I can see that a lot of native people
Speak English fluently.
speak English fluently, read, listen, and watch TV, but they don't know how to write. I also noticed that I would say writing classes are necessary for native people in universities. Yes,
Thank
absolutely, it's
you.
true. Okay, who was next? Ismail or who?
Me.
Okay, Yada? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, everybody just speak up because I'm going back and forth between lots of different places here. Okay, go ahead, Yada.
Okay. I can find. Okay. Fine. One thing that I enjoy is read novels or any kind of interesting articles that help me with my comprehension. But I really love watch movies. These help me to improve my English, but sometimes I have problems with my listening skills. I often read Speak Up magazine and watch movies throughout every Sunday.
Okay, good. One thing that I enjoy is reading novels or any kind of interesting articles that help me with my comprehension. But I really love to watch movies. This helps me to improve my English, but sometimes, one word, sometimes I have problems with the listening skills. I often read Speak Up magazine and watch movies throughout every Sunday. I would say watch movies more like during, or I would just say
Okay.
every Sunday. I watch
Okay.
movies every Sunday. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Okay, Jason, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
My favorite thing to do in English is reading. Reading. I do it pretty much all the time. I like to practice English when I have the opportunity, but maybe I should start to practice speaking it a little more, because it can come in handy anytime. I want to learn to write essays or histories, because that may help me to improve my skills in the English language.
Good. My favorite thing to do in English is reading, comma. I capitalize do it pretty much all the time. I like to practice English when I have the opportunity, but maybe I should start to practice speaking it a little more because it can come in handy anytime. I want to learn to write essays or histories because that may help me to improve my skills in the English language. Yes, okay, good.
Lisa,
Okay,
Lisa, I finished the first one or the second one?
okay. All right, Ahmad, let me go up here to the first one.
The first one, and I think the first paragraph, I was, yeah, I answered the second paragraph. Yes,
Yeah,
the yellow
in the
one.
yellow. Yes, I see it.
I think most, if not all, politicians have their vanity, greed, and selfish character. They would start with one of these characters and use their power to get some advantages from their position, from their positions.
Mm-hmm.
Then they try to cover their corruption with lies and methods. Some of them would enjoy it and go on till finally reach the non-return point.
Yeah. Okay, good. I think most, if not all, politicians have their vanity, greed, and selfish character. They would start with one of these characteristics, I would say, and use their power to get some advantages from their positions. Then they would try to cover their corruption with lies and myths. Some of them would enjoy it and go on until till finally reaching the, we say, point of no return. Okay? Good. And you want to do number 2?
Yeah, number 2. I'm the first paragraph, I think.
Okay, go ahead.
Just not because I want to read it. Okay. Between all of these English skills, I like listening the most. Maybe listening is easier one. I usually spend about 2 hours a day listening or watching movies. I am following many TV shows and American series. My my one challenge, my own challenge is writing, and this is why I'm practicing here right now.
Okay, good. Between all of, I would say, these English skills, I like listening the most. Maybe listening is the easiest one. I usually spend about 2 hours a day listening or watching movies. I am following many TV shows and American series. My own challenge is the writing, and this is why I'm practicing here now. Great. Good.
Thank you.
Ismael,
Okay. Number 2.
number 3.
Number 3. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm from Ecuador. Something really interesting that our government is doing is to take care of the nature in our territory. We have one of the bigger natural reserves in the world, but under it, we have a lot of oil, which means a lot of money for our country. Our purpose for the world is not to get the oil. If we do that, many species, animals and plants could be extinct. In rewarding, we are asking a similar value in money to many countries, especially those developed countries who have made a lot of money by creating new technology but producing pollution and affecting the natural resource.
Okay, I'm from Ecuador. Something really interesting that our government is doing is, I would say, taking care of the nature in our territory. We have one of the bigger natural reserves in the world with the L, but under it we have a lot of oil, which means a lot of money for our country. Our do you want purpose? Is that what you want to spell?
No, I think I'm wrong. Proposal?
Proposal, that's okay, that's what I was thinking. Proposal
Yes.
for the world is not to get the oil. If we do that, many species, animals and plants, could become extinct. In rewarding, let's see, in rewarding, what do you mean, like in exchange or?
Yes, we will keep the oil under, but
Okay.
we get a similar value.
Right. Okay, in exchange we're asking a similar value, or we could say instead, let's say instead, we are asking for a similar amount or a similar value in money. Okay, from many countries, especially those developed countries who have made a lot of money by creating new technology, but let's see, a lot of money by creating new technology but producing pollution and affecting the natural resources. Okay, great. Yeah, is that something that the government in Ecuador is going to be able to protect? Is it hard? Are they getting a lot of people trying to tell them to go for the oil or not? Do you know what I mean? Ismael?
Okay, I'm finished.
Okay.
Okay, first, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth, I guess. Okay. The global warming is a big problem that involves each of us. Okay, that's not mine, but it's in green. Anyways. Okay. Someone else is typing in green. It's okay, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I was like, no, I didn't write that, but it looks good.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess global warming is a very dangerous problem which all governments should be interested in discussing and finding a very fast solution to. Global warming is really threatening the whole world, not just a specific area. That's why all the governments around the world should be working together and finding an effective solution to this massive problem.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
All right.
can I go
Yes.
next?
Yep.
Okay,
Let's see.
the email.
Yep.
Dear Lisa, that's you. Okay.
Yes.
It has been a very long time since we talked. I hope everything is going well with you. I have some very good news for you. Remember when I told you like 3 months ago that I really need a good job, which suits me and pays me well? Guess what? I finally got it. It's a data entry position in a very large company, which where we import and export pharmaceuticals, and I'm really happy that I got this job. I'll be starting next Thursday, and I'll be working for 7 hours a day, and they will pay me $30 a day. Wish me luck. Your faithful friend, Miro.
Okay, good. Let's see. It's been a very long time since we talked. I hope everything is going well with you. I have some very good news for you. Remember when I told you like 3 months ago that I really needed
Needed it,
a
right?
good job which suits me and pays me well? Guess what? So I would put you could do it like that. I finally got it. It's a data entry position in a very large company where we import and export pharmaceuticals, and I'm really happy that I got this job. I'll be starting next Thursday, and I'll be working for 7 hours a day, and they'll pay me. So we put the dollar sign in front of the money, $30 a
Oh,
day.
okay.
And then just capitalize. Wish me luck. Your faithful friend, Mida. Okay, great.
Okay, can I go for the last one?
Okay, Lisa.
Oh, okay. Somebody else. Okay.
Okay, I
Okay,
will read.
which number?
Number 3.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, in my opinion, global warming is the next threat to our world. As we can see from news about a lot of natural disasters, all people know that this because the global warming. The governments around the world held a lot of conferences on climate. The last one was in Qatar. Many of major countries did not agree with the recommendations of these conferences.
In my opinion, global warming is the next threat to our world. As we can see from the news about a lot of natural disasters, all people know that this is, I would say, is because of global warming. The governments around the world have held a lot of conferences on climate, and the last one was in Qatar. Many of the major countries did not agree with the recommendations of this. Are you referring to the one in Qatar or all of them?
I think these.
These, yeah, right.
Yeah, these conferences.
These conferences. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good. Linda, do you want to read?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't really know much about global warming, but I think that the governments should organize and face the problem to find a solution that will help the environment. At the end, the lack of doing something will harm all the countries, regardless of their position about global warming.
The only thing I would correct is instead of at the end, I would say in the end.
In the end, okay.
And then put a comma there. The lack of doing something or not doing something, right, will harm all the countries. Yep, good.
Okay.
Okay, Yada, do you want to go?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
The global warming is a big problem that involves each of us, but the main responsibility is for the government because they have the economic resource. They should do programs to get solutions that help the countries to be more responsible about this problem. I think that the poorest countries have to sign the Kyoto protocols and try to control their industries and take other ways to avoid the global warming continue grow. But it's important that we are aware and help with our part.
Good. Okay, the global warming is I would just say global warming. Global warming is a big problem that involves each of us, but the main responsibility is for the governments because they have the economic resources. They should do programs to get, I would say, to find solutions that help the countries to be more responsible about these problems. I think that powerful countries have to sign the Kyoto protocols and try to control their industries and find other ways to avoid other ways to, I would say, to find other ways to keep global warming from growing. Okay, but it is important that we are well and help, I would say, by doing our part. Okay?
Okay.
Facundo, did you want to read?
Lisa, okay.
Yeah, which one?
In my opinion, global.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. About the global warming.
Yeah, go ahead.
In my opinion, global warming is not just a government problem, but it's a social problem. I think people must understand and take conscience of the consequences that pollution can produce. The government, like representative of all citizens, should to contribute to create a social knowledge about the bad consequences that global contamination can make in their style life on the future. Moreover, the government and politicians have to educate people about how to contribute to stop the pollution and decrease their unnecessary consume of energy.
Okay, good. In my opinion, global warming is not just a government, I would say a governmental problem, but it's a social problem. I think people must understand and be conscious of the consequences that pollution can produce. The government, as representative of all the citizens, should contribute to creating a social knowledge about the bad consequences that global contamination can make to their lifestyle in the future. Moreover, the government and politicians have to educate people about how to stop the pollution and decrease their unnecessary consumption of energy. Consumption. There. Okay.
Okay,
great.
thank you.
You're welcome. Jason, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I think the governments of all around the world have made a lot of efforts to stop the global warming, but the society is already accustomed to the comforts that the industry offers, and that's a big problem, because if all the people of the world doesn't commit to stop or at least to reduce the level of pollution in a 90%, the planet will face a more grave situation than the one that already is. Maybe this generation won't see the real terror of the global warming, and for that, we don't make many efforts that are really effective to stop the warming. But we must take action now. The planet needs us now.
Okay, good. I think the governments from all around the world have made a lot of efforts to stop global warming. but the society is already accustomed to the comforts that the industry offers, and that's a big problem, because if all the people of the world don't commit to stopping or at least reducing the level of pollution, I would say by 90%, the planet will face a more grave situation than the one that already is. Maybe this generation won't see the real terror of the global warming, and for that we don't make many efforts that are really effective to stop the warming. But we must take action now. The planet needs us now. Okay, good. Maria,
Thank you.
did you want to read?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Every effort to put a cap on carbon dioxide emissions is worthwhile. It's what is this? This
What do you want to put? This?
it is these issues are not to crack, though.
Yeah.
The civilization is developing. The population grows larger. We must find ways to feed more people. For many decades, we have used fossil fuels such as oil and gas for developing services and products in the society, also for producing food. Now that we are dependent on fossil fuels, burning fossil fuels also makes the climate warmer. But a more urgent issue is realizing that fossil fuels are finite.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we know that fossil fuels are finite, we have to work harder to find alternative energy sources.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just added the S's there.
Okay. Okay, fossil fuels. Okay.
Yeah, fossil fuels are finite. Okay, great.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay, we have about 4 more minutes. Who wants to read now?
Ismael.
Okay, Ismael.
Okay, and then Junaid. Okay, Ismael. Which number is Ismael? Okay.
Number 4.
I don't. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Hey Mika, how are you? Do you remember the job I applied last month? Well, finally I have good news. They called and told me that I have to go for an interview. It was an amazing experience. 60% was in Spanish and the other 40% was in English. I was hired to work in the security area and I'll start next week. My schedule is from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we'll have enough time to meet each other whenever you want. Please don't tell it anyone. I want to give our friends a big surprise.
Okay, good. Hi, Margaret. How are you? Do you remember the job I applied? Has 2 P's. Applied for last month. Well, finally, I have good news. They called and told me that I have to go. I had to go in for an interview. It was an amazing experience. 60% was in Spanish, and the other 40% was in English, capital E. I was hired to work in the security area, and I'll start next week. My schedule is from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m., so we'll have enough time to meet each other whenever you want. Please don't tell anyone. I want to give our friends a big surprise. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, Junaid? Were you ready? Who wants to read? We only have a couple more minutes.
Can I do mine?
Okay. I will read.
Okay, ladies first.
Okay, Maria, go ahead, and then
okay, very fast.
Okay.
Hi, friend. I'll be moving to New York next week, and I'm writing to say goodbye. I have accepted a job at the major translation bureau in downtown New York City. I will be reviewing all the translations to Swedish. This job also includes contact with business owners worldwide. I hope I also will be able to continue writing translation. This has always been my passion. I'm so happy for the opportunity and excited to move to the Big Apple.
Okay, good. All right, I have several jobs made to translation bureau. I will be reviewing. Whoops. Okay. To switch, the job also includes contact with business. Oops. Keep losing it. Hold on. Oh, where did it go? I think it didn't really need an E. Let's see. This has always been. Yeah, you said it, but you just hadn't written it. Okay, this has always been my
Okay.
passion. I'm so happy for the opportunity. Okay, great. Good job.
Good, thanks.
Okay, Junaid, or
Okay.
London, or who?
Hi,
Junaid.
friend. I would like to thank you about your advice to get a new job. Following your recommendation helps me to get a new job yesterday. My new job is a web development, and you know that I like this field. Today I finished my first day successfully. I will plan to make a party in my home to celebrate next weekend,
Weekend.
and we will talk about my new job briefly. So be ready. Thank you.
Okay, great. I would like to thank you about your advice to get a new job. Following your recommendation helped me to get a new job yesterday. My new job is a web developer, and you know that I like this field. Or I would say, okay, you could say is my new job is in. We could say is in web development, and you know that I like this field. Today I finished my first day successfully. I will plan to have a party in my home to celebrate next weekend, and we will talk about my new job briefly. So be ready. Thank you. Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Lendit, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, which one?
Maybe that one.
Okay, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. I can see three guys that are playing poker, eating snacks, and getting drunk. It looks that they are having a good time and that they bet very little amounts of tokens. Maybe they are afraid to lose all their money.
Right. Okay, the only thing I would say is it looks like they are having a good time and that they are betting.
Okay.
I would just say small amounts of tokens. Maybe they are afraid to lose all their money. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, the time is up. So you guys did a great job. Lots of writing tonight. Some of them were a little bit more intellectual about the global warming and stuff, not about cute teddy bears and things and puppies, like Maria said. But, yeah, you guys did great. I hope that you guys.
Lisa,
yes, Junaid.
can I talk with you 1 minute?
Yeah, sure. Let me just say goodbye to everybody.
Okay.
And thank you for coming to class. And I hope you.
Thank you.
I'm really seeing a lot of improvement, so I hope you guys are noticing it too. So that's really awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye
Yes,
bye.
last
Thank
picture
you.
is in my writing.
Bye bye.
Thank you so
I
much.
love it.
Okay, great.